Welcome, everybody, to the Vegas Nose podcast presented by BuckeyeScoop.com. I'm Marc Givler. I'm joined by Bill Greene, as always. Had a little bit of a hiatus there for a week or two. A lot going on, and I know I think Bill went and did the real thing in Vegas there, so he's back and hasn't lost all his money, so he's still with us and in good shape. So. We'll get into it pretty quickly here. I'm actually doing this from a hotel in Stark County as the OHSAA football championships got moved on 24 hours notice. So I had to zip up here and get this podcast recorded for everyone. We'll start as always with college. Bill, you got a bunch of picks this weekend. Fire away a pick or two.
For the year, we're still in the plus. We've made enough money to maybe pay the paper boy, not much more than that, but 27, 23, and 1. First, I am taking Clemson over the total of 63. They got Trevor Lawrence is back, playing Florida State. 63 is a high total, but I think Clemson might threaten this total all by their lonesome. Still got some injuries on defense too, so Florida State might be able to get on the board. I don't need much out of Florida State. I'm going to need about 14 out of them, and this thing will be good to go because I don't see any way Clemson doesn't put 50 up on the board. Dabo knows he's got a loss right now in style points. This could be really tight going forward, even if he beats Notre Dame. So I think Clemson's going to put up a ton of points here, and I think Florida State will help out a little bit, get me over the 63.
So that's a game I like. I don't have the total. I'm taking Clemson minus 35. I had to buy half a point on that, but whatever. It's almost begging for money on Florida State. I mean, as bad as Florida State is, you see a number that high, Clemson, Florida State. You don't think there's any way. So I think coming off the loss, Trevor back, Clemson is in a position now where obviously they can control their destiny to an extent because they can continue to win and get a rematch with Notre Dame. And kind of get their way in that way. And I think they're going to be motivated to put up some style points. And so I think Clemson minus 35 is a good play. Florida State's a train wreck right now. And just I feel like this is a week we get a top level performance out of Clemson. What else you got?
Yeah, looking at the Ohio State game, I didn't really take a side here as much as I really like the game under, and it's really hard to bet an Ohio State game under. The total 66.5. I just think this Indiana team, they're good, they're playing hard, and I know all that, but I just think this is a week where Ryan Day is really going to look to run that football. He's got to get Josh Myers and Harry Miller playing well. I think they're going to run the ball more, and I just don't think Indiana is going to be able to score that much on Ohio State. The Indiana offense, they don't run the ball at all. And then people look at Michael Vick, and that's just not the case. He is not really a threat to run the ball. And, he makes big plays, and that does scare me a little bit against Ohio State, that secondary. But, I think Sean Wade will take Fry Fogle. And I just think this is looking more like a championship style game. And Tom Allen cannot have a shootout here, and he knows that. So I think we're looking at a 35-17 game more than a 45-35 game. So I'm going to take the game total and hold my breath the whole time for this one.
Yeah, I actually am not making any picks on that game beyond just our staff picks are up on the website if you want to see our staff picks. But in terms of from a gambling perspective, the lines seem just about right to me. So I didn't really touch anything in that game. I do like another Big Ten game though, and this is almost borderline fishy, which I kind of like. I always like if something looks odd, I kind of try and jump on it. I got Nebraska minus 16 against Illinois. That seems bigger than it should be, but Nebraska's offense is, pretty potent. And I think Illinois is just not there yet. I mean, they're still I don't see much firepower there. They struggled to put up points against Rutgers last week. They did pull that one out late. I think Nebraska is going to be a team that continues to improve as the season goes on. They've got a lot of weapons, and so I think they're going to beat Illinois pretty badly. Coming off a big win against Penn State, some confidence. I look for something in the, I don't know, 38 to 17 type of range, something like that maybe for Nebraska. I think they win this game by 3 scores, and that's what's obviously what it's going to take here to cover. And so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm in that game too, but going again with the total again, my third total is I watched the Illinois-Rutgers game last week, really close. I did have Illinois and 2 for me, but they stink. And their offense, they cannot throw the football at all. They're down to the 3rd-string quarterback, and it's just not very pretty there. They ran for 300 yards on Rutgers. They're not running for 300 on Nebraska, and if they help the clock anyway. So I'm taking that game under the 59, and I kind of like, a 31-13 game or something like that. I don't see how these two teams combine for 60 points. I don't see it, and if you lose, you lose. But, yeah, that's 3 totals and 3 sides, and that's my third total, Nebraska, Illinois, under the 59.
Yeah, and here's another one I like, and I probably shouldn't. This is the one I'm least confident on, so you guys may want to fade me on this. I think I'm looking too much into past performance. I'm becoming a prisoner of tradition here and not so much what we've seen the last few weeks, but LSU -1 at Arkansas. Doesn't LSU have to put it together one of these weeks? And isn't there some serious heat there to do that? I'm not saying they're going to fire Ed Orgeron this week or anything like that coming off a national championship, but my goodness, they have not looked good. Arkansas has been really good under Sam. Sam Pittman's doing a great job right now at Arkansas. But I just look at that game, and if I can, it's essentially a pick 'em. If I can get LSU in essentially a pick 'em against Arkansas, I'm just going to do it. So I've got LSU -1 at Arkansas, and we'll probably be back here making fun of myself for it a week from now.
Yeah, I didn't really have a feel for that one. I'm kind of like you, that LSU just I think of last year's LSU, and they're not that, but yet, are they horrible? Are they Rutgers? Which I don't think they are. So I just stayed away. My next one was one that I hope I win the bet, but I hope my underdog doesn't win outright. And I'm taking UCF plus the 6 against Cincinnati. I do not want UCF to win this game. I lose by 4 or 5. I want the undefeated season for Pickle to keep going. I just think UCF, the pace they play, is something Cincinnati has not seen yet. Last year's game was really close. It was in Cincinnati, degrees tomorrow down in Florida. And man, I think UCF, that offense is really something. And I just think this could end up being a really close game. So I'm going to take UCF plus the 6 points here.
Another big line that should probably make me nervous. This is my last pick. I've been going with 3 a lot recently. I've had some success, but didn't have a great week last week, obviously, but crept my way back to 500 there for a minute. Going to go with another big line in Power 5. Florida -31.5 at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's awful. Florida's offense is explosive. The over-under is 68 right now is what I'm seeing. So they're expecting a lot of points. I know Florida's defense, isn't exactly what we would maybe expect out of that caliber of a program right now. I know they're giving up some points to some teams, but if that's going to get close to the over-under, if that's going to get close to the 68 total, isn't Florida like a borderline lock? If there's 70 points in that game, I just can't see how many of them are coming from Vanderbilt. I think Florida could blow this one open. I think this could be one of those 49 or 52-10 type of games. And that's kind of what I see it as. And I think Florida's humming right now offensively, and they're going to cover.
Yeah, I looked at that, and that's a lot of points, and it kind of scared me off. Florida's really reminding me of the 2014 Ohio State team that, early in the year you lose to Tech, you struggle with Navy, and then when you get it going, it's going. And that's what Florida looks to me like right now. I think Florida we've said all year that we think there's 3 teams, and you really want to be the number 1 seed to avoid 4 guy. I don't know. I think Florida is a 4 guy. I think they're going to beat Bama in the SEC title game. Wow. They can beat Clemson. They can beat Ohio State. So I think you got a good one there. Those points scared me off. So I stayed out of that one. But I mean, Florida's in my eye as somebody that can win it all. I know that. I'm going with one that I'm kind of scared with, but I just believe in them, and I've believed in them all year. I'm going with Northwestern here, taking the 7.5 against Wisconsin. They have Wisconsin good the last 8 or 9 times, and I think this is a really good Northwestern team, one of their best teams. So I'm riding with them again. Take the plus 7.5. I think I'm hoping it's a great game, close game. We'll see. I mean, Wisconsin, they're a little different now with the way they can throw the ball, and that does concern me, but I'm going to ride with the Wildcats here. They've got more starters returning than any team in the Big Ten. They've been healthy all year. Love the quarterback fits in big games, especially as an underdog. So I'm riding with the Purple Cats here.
I looked really closely at that. I didn't touch it. I'm looking forward to that game as much as anything. I'm hoping I can kind of sneak a peek here from the press box in Massillon this weekend and make sure I can keep an eye on that one. Not get too distracted from my job, but that's a good looking game to me. The 7.5 was interesting. If I had to play that game, that's what I would play. But I didn't. I wimped out, so I didn't touch it. What do you got left, Bill? Because I'm all out of college football picks.
Okay, I have one more, 6 picks this week. The last one is probably the one I'm least confident on, but I'm going to roll with minus the 7 against Oklahoma State. I think Oak State has died the past couple of weeks. Their offense, they are beat up on the O-line. They have nobody on the O-line at all, and that's just killing their offense. They're not scoring at all right now, and it looks like Oklahoma's really found themselves on offense. And I think this could be a beatdown here where Oklahoma is really a team on the rise, where Oklahoma State might be seeing that thing might be falling for them. So I'm going to ride with the Sooners here, and see what happens there.
Yeah, that was an interesting one that I looked at. What I was surprised to see, and I think I stayed away from a fishy line here, is I wasn't so much looking at this point spread as much as I was looking at the over under. And you log on and you look at the lines and things like that, and you always, when you're talking about Big 12 games and like an Oklahoma State type of game, you're always thinking, oh, the over under is going to be 70 or 75 or just something completely outrageous. And it was like, I think at one point it was under 60. I'm seeing 60 right now, but I think at one point it was even under 60. And I'm just like, whoa, that kind of like threw me off a little bit. So I think it might be a little, as you alluded to with Oklahoma State, they have some issues right now. And, if Oklahoma's offense is still pretty potent this year, they're still putting up points, they're still explosive. So that might be the right play there. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at over under though. I'm like, man, that's begging for the over. So it may be a low score. It may not be a traditional Oklahoma State, 56-52 game. It may be more of a game that's played in the 20s. So we'll see how that goes. I looked at a couple others. I never pulled the trigger. Penn State +2 is intriguing to me. They're not going to go winless this year, are they? Like Penn State's eventually going to win a game this year, right? So, we'll see.
Might not.
Yeah, maybe they're just that bad. I don't know. USC, it looks like it's going to be another nail biter. They're only 2.5 point favorites at Utah. I'm like, how is a team with that much talent, barely favored over Utah? But, we've seen Clay Helton, lose some bad ones over the last couple of years. So yeah, a couple I just couldn't pull the trigger on. So it looks like you're, more aggressive than me this week. And we'll see how it goes. I don't particularly love the lines this week, but we'll see. All right. NFL.
Oh boy.
Your favorite. What are we thinking in the NFL? You said you got 3 this week, right?
Yeah, I have 3 losers here in the NFL. If you're not going against me in the NFL, then with you, I've never been able to do well in the NFL, and that's going back many, many years, and that trend is continuing here. I've got like a Joe DiMaggio hitting streak going. I actually won like 2 weeks in a row in the NFL, which I don't know how that happened. And then that game crashed in the week. So got 3 this week. The first one I'm going with, and I don't know, I'm sure you have an opinion on this, and I'll be anxious to hear what it is,
Oh
but I'm
gosh.
going to take the Brownies minus the 3 over the Eagles. I just think the Eagles are god awful. I mean, maybe they rise up and win this one. I've seen nothing out of that team. Not to break your heart there, but I see
No.
nothing out of that team that I like at all. And I really do like Cleveland. I think Cleveland might not be in a place where they're ready to compete with Kansas City, but they're sure ready to compete with the average to bad teams. And I think Cleveland will win this. Minus 3, I'll take a shot there.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to play this game, but I can't argue with anything you said. Look, there's no reason to be on the Eagles side of these lines right now. There just isn't. I wanted to play the Giants game last week. I have no idea why I didn't. The fact that I didn't take the 4.5 last week is appalling after all the other times I've taken the underdog against the Eagles this year and had a lot of success with it. And yeah, I mean, if I'm not touching it this weekend, I'm taking an Eagles break here right now. But yeah, if you force me to make a pick on this game, I'm laying the 3. I'm taking Cleveland, but I'm actually not on that this weekend. I'm on a bunch of weird stuff this week, and it's going to be weird in the NFL. I'll go with, I guess, the least weird one right now. I'm going to take the Saints minus 3.5. I just don't think Atlanta's any good. Have they been better recently? I guess, yes. But, Drew Brees out. Yes, I understand. Just taking the Saints at home minus 3.5. I think they're just a much better team than Atlanta. And I think they'll do just fine with whoever plays a quarterback, whatever they're going to do, how much Taysom Hill we see, whatever. I just don't have any faith in this Atlanta team. I think they've pretty much mailed it in at this point. And I think that 3.5, I think Vegas is almost begging people to take those points. So that screams to me almost a fishy line. And I think the Saints will win by a touchdown or more. So that's my first one.
Okay. And I do think, as we record this on Friday afternoon, I think New Orleans announced today that Taysom Hill is going to be the starting quarterback over Jameis Winston.
Yeah. I saw Winston was not in the offensive game plan. Yeah. So we'll probably see all sorts of, we'll see some Tebow type stuff, I guess, out of Taysom Hill on Sunday. But again, that just screams like, I mean, why is it only 3.5? Why is it 3.5 at all? Why is New Orleans, they got that little hook in there at 3.5. So it's, I don't know. I think they're begging people to bet on Atlanta. That's what I see there.
My next one is, I'm going to go with Green Road playing Indianapolis, and Indianapolis is really good. And that one, I don't know how they're not the favorite playing at home, but they've got Green Bay, or no, how Green Bay is not the favorite. They're getting points, which doesn't make sense to me. I know Grapple last week against Jacksonville. I don't think they're going to play awful again. I think they have too many weapons. And to me, it just came down to like good players on each side of the ball for both teams. So I dialed it down really to Aaron Rodgers against Phillip Rivers, and that became me. And I'm going with Green Bay. And if I lose, then I lose with the better quarterback.
Yeah, I'm on, like I mentioned as we started talking about this, I said I'm on some weird stuff this week. And here's another example. I'm with you. I'm taking the point. I'm taking the Packers +1. Not a good performance last week from Green Bay. I think I don't know. It's just hard for me to envision them playing poorly 2 weeks in a row like that. Better quarterback, better players. Full disclosure, though, I've probably underestimated the Colts all year. I've been against the Colts a lot, and it hasn't always worked out for me this year. So maybe you fade me on this one. Maybe fade us on this one. Green Bay +1. That's my second pick.
Well, my last one is probably the most square play on the board. Retard America is going to be on this one, and we're probably going to lose. But I'm taking Kansas City minus the 8 over Las Vegas. They lost to them earlier this year. there's no way Andy Reid isn't going to revenge this thing. And I think it's going to be a total, complete butt kicking. I'm riding with Kansas City here on the road, laying 8 to a team that already beat him this year outright. But there's no way Vegas is beating them this time. So, I'm riding with Patrick Mahomes here.
Well, my last pick, again, we'll keep it weird because, I mean, let's be honest. Why would anyone actually bet on this game? I'm taking the Bengals +1 against the football team. I think Cincinnati, with or without Joe Mixon, sounds like he might not be playing. I don't particularly care. Gio Bernard's a very good backup. We look at the players. I like Cincinnati's talent. I think they've got a good thing going there offensively. To my knowledge, Joe Burrow is good. So I could be maybe there's a fishy thing going on with Burrow there. I know he got dinged up at the end of the last week's game, but I like the Bengals here. I think, I think they have more offensive firepower. It's probably a game no one should ever bet on, but I've bet on some weird game. I've done okay this year. I've bet on some games, like Giants football team, Eagles, different games with the Eagles that people would be like, I can't believe you're even, looking at that game. So I'm going to just keep it, we're going to do it weird this week. Just 3 weird games, and Bengals +1. They win outright. They win by 7 to 10 points. Washington continues to be really, really bad. Bengals continue to be bad, but yet you watch them and they don't look as bad as the result. They seem to be in things every week. So, with a couple of exceptions. So, I will go with them.
All right, man. Well, we'll know soon.
That's it, right? You're all done. You got all your picks in?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will see how this goes. Like I said, I took some weird games this weekend. So I could be coming back next week with, some type of crazy, like 6-1 type of record or something.
No, don't do that.
We'll see what happens. Well, all right. Well, I gotta go because, I mean, my goodness, we got Massillon in the Division II play.
Right.
Could be history made tonight. I wonder what the line on that game is. I'm sure there's some people here. I'm sure there's some fine, upstanding Stark County citizens that have placed some wagers on that have found a line on that game somewhere and have just
I haven't.
friendly
I wish
wagers.
I did. I wish I'd have heard something. I haven't. I should have snooped around a little more. I guarantee you there's action on it in Stark County here, but
what is this?
So
it's a limited scene. They're only gonna have like 1,000 fans or something crazy. What is gonna happen to me? Do I need to get out of here? I have a hotel here for 2 nights. Do I need to get out of here if Massillon wins? I've already seen them lose in this venue before, and I thought the entire county might burn, and it didn't. So maybe it does if they win.
No. I think they should stay in and enjoy the fun. If they win, I would enjoy the revelry. You probably won't have to pay for a drink. Those people will be losing their mind. So.
We'll see. I may be seeing history tonight. A state championship for Massillon in the playoff era. That we could see history. We will see. All right, guys. Good luck this week with your picks, and we'll see you next week.